Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan was a stern, by-the-book nurse, seemingly in total control. But the actress who played her felt trapped in a boys' club on set, a struggle mirroring her character's reality. On screen, many saw Margaret as a cranky manager who constantly berated her own nurses. So, was she a power-tripping boss or a woman fighting for respect in a system designed to deny it? This is the hidden story of Major Houlihan: systematic sexism, flawed leadership, and her staff's surprising bullying. In early seasons, Margaret was rigidly aligned with the incompetent Frank Burns, the antagonist against the surgeon's humanism. This was cemented by the demeaning nickname Hot Lips. Actress Loretta Swit argued her character was a major, not a piece of anatomy. While Margaret earned her rank through skill, she was treated as a joke by male colleagues thanks to her nickname, establishing a baseline of disrespect. So we've established she was undermined by the surgeons. But how did this affect her relationship with the nurses under her command? Evidence suggests Margaret was a tough manager early on, seemingly out of touch with the nurses' needs and taking their work for granted. This created resentment. Her authority was met with eye rolls and whispers, a subtle form of workplace bullying. To understand their side, we have to ask, who were these nurses? And in a moment, you'll see why the show treated them as a single, nameless group. Most nurses were intentionally generic. Characters like Nurse Abel and Nurse Baker were literally named after the phonetic alphabet, showing their interchangeability. This lack of individuality meant they functioned as a collective. It wasn't one nurse against Margaret, it was the nurses against their boss. Why did she manage so strictly? Constantly fighting for respect from male surgeons, she displaced her frustration onto the only target she had authority over, the nurses. While Margaret held rank, the nurses held social power. Their collective disapproval and exclusion created an isolating environment, a classic bullying tactic. So we have a manager hurt by disrespect, taking out frustrations on an undervalued staff, who in turn use social tactics to undermine and isolate her. Let's see how this changed. The episode The Nurses was a watershed moment, forcing Margaret to confront her isolation and reveal her deep vulnerability to her staff. Her divorce from Donald Penobscot was another critical point, showing her cycle through happiness, remorse, and pain, proving her complexity. This evolution was intentional. Loretta Swit actively collaborated with producers to deepen her character, especially after Frank Burns left. Remember why the nurses were generic? Later critiques reveal the answer. The show's focus was a salacious boys' club. The nurses weren't developed. The arrival of Colonel Potter in Season 4 demonstrated a path forward. He was the first male authority figure to consistently treat Margaret with respect. This brings up a central conflict in MASH's legacy. It was praised for tackling war and death, but its deep-seated sexism was a major blind spot. So, were the nurses just bullying their boss? Did they even know what they were doing? Or was this a case of pushing back against the only authority figure they could? Margaret was trapped. She was a woman in a man's world demanding respect, but she was the man to the nurses below her, perpetuating the cycle. The conflict wasn't Margaret versus the nurses. It was a symptom of a rigid patriarchal hierarchy. The surgeons punch down on her. They think in fun. She punches down on them. If everyone was a victim of the system, how do we finally understand Major Houlihan? Let's connect the on-set reality with the on-screen fiction. Remember Loretta Swit's battle against the Hot Lips nickname and the Boys Club set? That nickname stayed for 8 of 11 seasons before it was finally dropped. We saw Margaret as a strict manager, and the nurses as a nameless collective. Their bullying was the reaction of the powerless against a strong leader. This reveals the ultimate truth. The villain wasn't Margaret, and it wasn't the nurses. It was the military, misogynistic system that pitted them against each other. Margaret Houlihan is the story of a woman who begins by trying to succeed within a broken system and ends by finding her humanity only when she defies it. Margaret's journey from a one-dimensional caricature to a deeply human character was groundbreaking for television, showing growth rarely seen at the time. So, was Major Houlihan bullied by her nurses? Yes, but that simple claim hides a profound story of a flawed leader and staff trapped in institutional sexism. Her character forces us to look beyond simple labels of bully or victim and ask tougher questions about the environments that create conflict. The next time you watch MASH, look past the laughs and see the complex workplace drama. Does this change how you see Major Houlihan? Let us know.